Next time you are outside, just take a second to look up at the clouds.
Oh, yeah. Always a good idea.
Right, because, they really seem like the ultimate symbol of absolute freedom.
Completely untethered.
Exactly. They just drift across the sky, completely shapeless, blowing, wherever the wind happens to take them.
Just random chaos, basically.
Yeah, but what if that freedom is just a complete illusion?
A really convincing one, yeah.
Like, what if those clouds are actually bolted to a track that's just as rigid as a freight train's?
That is a wild image.
And every single drop of rain is, like, mathematically predetermined to fall exactly where it does.
Down to the millimeter.
Right.
Right.
And that idea that there is just no true randomness anywhere in the physical world, that's the jumping off point for what we're exploring today.
It's a heavy one.
It really is. So we're looking at this translated 2005 philosophical essay by a writer named Feng. It's called The Trajectory of Life.
A very ambitious title.
Super ambitious. And the mission for this deep dive is to explore this incredibly audacious argument that attempts to take the cold, rigid laws of physics, specifically thermodynamics, and just merge them directly with human destiny.
Which is quite the leap.
To say the least. Ultimately, we are asking who, or I guess what, is really behind the wheel of your life.
Yeah.
Okay, let's unpack this. Where is the bridge between atmospheric physics and the actual trajectory of an individual human life?
Well, it starts with this foundational premise that honestly just refuses to leave any room for chance.
Zero chance.
Zero. The essay argues that absolutely everything in the universe moves along a strictly predetermined trajectory.
Okay, but I mean, at the macro level, we already kind of accept this.
Oh, for sure. The galaxy, our solar system, the Earth, the moon, we know they have specific, totally predictable orbits.
We can track them centuries in advance.
Exactly. But the text applies this exact same rigidity all the way down to the microscopic level.
Wait, really? Like atoms and stuff?
Yeah, it insists that atoms, electrons, electromagnetic waves, and all kinds of rays, they do not wander. They're locked onto these rigid, unchangeable paths.
Which brings us back to those clouds I mentioned.
Right, the clouds.
They look totally chaotic to the naked eye, but human meteorologists literally make a living proving that they aren't chaotic at all.
Right, they map it out.
Yeah, they can forecast a storm weeks before it happens because the atmosphere is obeying these complex but entirely predictable laws.
It's just a giant system.
Exactly. The local weather reporter is basically just reading the train schedule for the sky.
That is such a great way to put it. And the author takes that meteorological reality and expands it into a geographical necessity.
How so?
Think about the consequences of a universe where clouds actually were free to do whatever they wanted.
Oh, it would be
It would be catastrophic.
Yeah.
Chaotic rain would fall constantly. Deserts wouldn't stay dry. They'd just be flooded and turned into lush jungles overnight.
While, like, rainforests might suddenly just face decade-long droughts.
Precisely. The entire geographic stability of our planet relies completely on the fact that those seemingly free clouds are on a super tight mathematical leash.
Wow, it really paints a picture of the universe as this impossibly vast cosmic train network. Every single particle, every planet, every ocean current is just a train locked onto a specific rail.
Moving right on schedule.
Right. And there are junctions and switches, sure, but absolutely nothing goes off the rails.
Never.
And, I mean, that makes perfect sense for physics, but physical matter isn't conscious.
No, it's not.
A rock doesn't have ambition or desire. So does this cosmic train network extend to living, breathing creatures?
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
The text takes that physical law and pulls it straight into biology, claiming that, and I quote, life has trajectories too.
Okay.
And this is used to explain the incredibly rigid boundaries we see in the natural world.
Like what kind of boundaries?
Well, why do different life forms have such specific lifespans or distinct body sizes and specialized food requirements?
Right. Why does a mouse only live a couple of years?
Exactly. The essay argues it isn't just the random roll of the evolutionary dice. It's because every life form is bound to its own specific trajectory.
So it's built in.
Yeah, an elephant doesn't eat meat, and a lion doesn't graze on grass because their biological tracks fundamentally dictate their survival needs and behaviors.
Okay, so the tracks govern the physical universe, and they govern the biological animal kingdom.
Right.
But, human beings love to think we are the exception to the rule.
Oh, we really do.
We have ambition, we have willpower. I mean, we have an entire self-help industry telling us that we can just manifest whatever reality we want.
Manifesting is huge right now.
Totally. So if we are on these rigid biological tracks, that implies some really severe limitations on human achievement, doesn't it?
The limitations are absolute.
Really, absolutely.
Yeah, the text is incredibly blunt about this. It takes direct aim at human ambition.
Oh, boy.
It states that you cannot simply choose to become a president, a renowned scientist, or a billionaire just by applying elbow grease and hard work.
Okay, the examples used in the essay are actually pretty funny to me because they are so weirdly specific.
They are very specific.
It says you cannot just decide to have the exact elegance and charm of James Bond.
Which is a bummer.
Right. You cannot wake up and decide to become the next Jet Li or Madonna.
Nope.
It explicitly mocks the idea that you can just read a pile of celebrity biographies or study books like the complete works of knowledge and magically emulate their success.
Yeah, because reading a biography is essentially just staring at the blueprints for someone else's track.
Oh, that's good.
It does not change the metal rails that you're currently bolted to.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
What's fascinating here is how that premise reframes our entire emotional landscape.
Okay, how so?
If you accept that your trajectory is entirely fixed, then a whole spectrum of human emotions suddenly becomes completely illogical.
Like which emotions?
Well, the essay argues that your gender, your race, your social standing, whether you're born into royalty or poverty, and even the exact second of your birth and death are all pre-written by your trajectory.
Pre-written, wow.
Yeah. Therefore, experiencing jealousy because someone else is successful or feeling bitter dissatisfaction when a coworker gets a promotion and you don't, it makes no sense.
Because it wasn't on your track anyway.
Exactly. You are basically standing on a platform getting angry at a train for arriving at its scheduled destination.
Man, I have a really hard time swallowing that.
It's tough.
It sounds paralyzingly fatalistic to me.
It really does sound that way.
If I am born into a terrible situation and no amount of hard work is going to turn me into a billionaire, or even just claw my way into a slightly better life, then what is the point of human effort?
Yeah, why try?
Are we just totally powerless passengers sitting by the window watching the scenery of our own lives roll by until the track runs out?
See, that reaction is exactly what the essay anticipates.
Yes.
Yeah, and it leads to the biggest twist in the entire philosophy.
Okay, lay on me.
You're looking around the train car asking, well, who is driving this thing? Who laid these tracks?
Exactly. Who's in charge?
And the answer the text gives is emphatic. It is not the greatest creator.
Okay.
It is not a pantheon of deity celestial beings. It is not the government, and it is not your parents.
Well, I am the only one left in the equation. Are you saying I laid the track?
Exclusively.
Wow.
The essay completely rejects the idea of external victims. We are the sole architects of our own destiny. We forge the rails ourselves.
I definitely do not remember laying down the tracks for the flat tire I got yesterday.
I bet you don't.
Or any of the struggles I'm currently dealing with. How does that timeline actually work mechanically?
It operates on a continuum of past, present, and future that stretches way beyond a single lifespan.
Oh, so we're talking past lives.
Exactly. The argument is that your present situation, every single hardship, every advantage the family you were born into, was mathematically determined by your efforts and actions in a previous life?
So my past self did this to me.
Right. Your past karma built the rails you are riding on at this very moment.
Okay, but what about the intense hard work I'm doing today?
It isn't going to miraculously change your current trajectory.
So it's useless.
Not at all. The effort you exert today is the physical labor of laying down the tracks for your tomorrow, meaning your future life.
Oh, wow. Here's where it gets really interesting because the author brings up this old traditional saying.
Oh, right.
The saying is, man manages small things. Big events are in the hands of the greatest creator.
A classic proverb.
Yeah, and normally when people say that, it's just a gesture of surrender.
Like let go and let God.
Exactly. You do your best and you leave the big scary stuff up to a higher power in the sky.
Right.
But through this lens of absolute self-responsibility, that quote means something entirely different.
It flips it on its head.
It does. The creator isn't some external deity deciding your fate. The creator of your trajectory is just the cumulative historical version of you.
That is the core paradox of the essay. You are entirely bound and restricted by the trajectory you're on, making you a prisoner of the track.
Stop.
But simultaneously, you are the only one who built the prison, making you entirely free and responsible.
That is heavy. But I want to dig into the actual mechanics of this.
Sure, let's get into the gears.
Because how do abstract actions in the past physically build a track for the future?
Right.
If I lie to someone, or like if I help an old lady cross the street, how does that translate into a predetermined outcome later?
It sounds mystical, right?
Yeah, we have to figure out how this philosophy bridges the gap into actual science, because the author uses the word karma, which carries a lot of mystical baggage.
Well, the author actually strips away all that mystical baggage.
How so?
In this framework, karma isn't some cosmic judge sitting on a cloud with a moral scorecard deciding who gets rewarded and who gets punished. The text defines karma strictly and literally as the law of the conservation of energy.
Wait, really? So we are moving straight into thermodynamics?
Exactly. The text brings in 19th century physics, specifically citing the German physicist Rudolf Clausius.
Right, the guy who did a lot of work on heat and energy.
Yes, Clausius is famous for formulating the first law of thermodynamics, which states that within a closed system, energy can never be created or destroyed.
It can only change forms.
Right. Therefore, the zero sum of positive and negative energy within that closed system must always remain zero.
It has to balance out perfectly.
Always. The essay takes that fundamental rule of a steam engine and scales it up to encompass the entire universe, treating all of existence as the ultimate closed system.
Okay, I see where this is going.
That inescapable mathematical balancing act of energy, that is what the author defines as karma.
So, if I am doing something harmful, I am expending a specific type of negative energy into the closed system.
Creating a deficit.
Right, creating a deficit.
Yeah.
And because the universe demands a zero sum, it will eventually force a corresponding positive energy reaction onto me just to balance the equation.
Exactly.
It's a literal cosmic accounting ledger that cannot be cheated.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it completely recontextualizes that ancient proverb, as we sow, so shall we reap.
Oh, yeah.
We usually treat that as a piece of gentle folklore, a nice moral guideline to encourage good behavior.
Like, be nice and nice things happen.
But the text argues it is not poetry. It is a literal thermodynamic equation.
That's wild.
Every human action is a deposit or a withdrawal of energetic force.
Yeah.
And the system is mathematically obligated to balance the books.
Okay, I mean, it is a brilliant metaphor to explain consequence.
It's elegant.
It is, but I have to put my skeptic's hat on here.
Sort of.
Applying physics to morality gets incredibly messy. Thermodynamics is measurable. We can quantify joules, calories, and kinetic energy.
We have instruments for that.
Right. But human morality, kindness, cruelty, deceit is entirely subjective.
It's very gray.
So how does a subjective moral act translate into an objective unit of thermodynamic energy?
It's a valid critique.
How does the author actually prove that this equation is actively balancing out in the real world rather than just sounding good on paper?
Well, the essay attempts to answer that exact skepticism by providing a rapid-fire catalog of historical events and personal anecdotes,
Okay, bringing receipts.
framing all of them as undeniable evidence of this thermodynamic ledger balancing itself in real time.
Right.
But before we dive into his examples, I think we need to set some context for you, the listener.
Yes, that is incredibly important.
Yeah.
Listeners, the essay we are discussing was written in 2005.
And it shows.
It does. And to prove his point, the author applies this thermodynamic framework to some extremely heavy, raw, and politically charged historical events,
Very heavy.
including global terrorism and massive human atrocities.
Yeah.
We want to make it abundantly clear. We are acting entirely as messengers here. We are not endorsing his conclusions, and we certainly aren't taking a stance on his view of history.
We're just outlining the text.
Exactly. Our goal is simply to map out how he attempts to use world events to prove his theory of energetic cause and effect. We are not taking sides.
With that in mind, let's look at the macro level.
Okay, where does he start?
The author points to major geopolitical conflicts to illustrate massive shifts in karmic energy. For example, he looks at the ousting and arrest of Iraqi President Saddam Hussein by the U.S. and British coalitions.
Okay.
In his framework, this wasn't just a political or military maneuver. He links it directly to Hussein's prior invasion of Kuwait.
So cause and effect.
Right. The invasion was a massive output of negative energy that disrupted the closed system, and the eventual arrest was the universe balancing that specific energetic equation.
Wow. And he applies the same logic to 9/11.
He does.
He connects the toppling of the World Trade Center in New York directly to the hardline foreign affairs policies of the U.S. government.
Yeah, he draws a direct line.
He positions the political policy as the initial energetic cause and the devastating bombing as the unavoidable thermodynamic effect rushing in to reach zero sum.
It's a very clinical view.
It really is. It strips away all the political nuance and reduces global conflict to a physics equation.
And he goes even further back into history, pointing to
While China, and remember at the time this was written in 2005, had remained largely poor and economically backward despite a 5,000-year history.
he compares continents, too.
Yeah, he questions why Europe developed so rapidly while the African continent faced such severe struggle.
And his answer isn't what you'd expect.
No. For the author, the answer isn't geography, colonization, or political systems at all. It is always this macro-level karmic ledger.
Just math.
The prosperity or poverty of an entire nation is just the thermodynamic output of its collective past actions.
Right. And once he establishes that macro view, he zooms all the way down to the micro level.
So back to the individual.
Yeah, applying the exact same principle to the daily natural world and our private lives.
Give me an example.
Well, he asks, why did we see the sudden emergence of the SARS virus or the bird flu? Why do massive sandstorms plague northern China? And why do rivers suddenly overflow their banks?
Not random, I'm guessing.
Exactly. He insists that these are not just meteorological or biological accidents. They all have specific root karmic causes. The Earth itself is balancing its energy.
And it gets uncomfortably personal, too.
Very personal.
He writes that getting accepted into a prestigious doctoral course isn't just about pulling all-nighters and studying hard.
It's not just elbow grease.
No, it is the mathematical result of your natural endowments, your environment, and your past work all aligning on your karmic trajectory.
It was always going to happen.
And on the dark side of that, he argues that sudden medical emergencies, like a heart attack or angina, never happen out of the blue.
Never.
They are the strict physical manifestations of your trajectory catching up with you.
He extends this to literally every human experience.
Every single one.
If someone is involved in a sudden car crash or is stabbed in an alleyway or simply collapses on the street, the essay argues there are strict, undeniable causes for these events.
That's a lot to process.
The text even claims that whether a person gets to sleep in a luxury 5-star hotel tonight or is forced to sleep on the pavement is not a matter of a broken economic system or bad luck.
It's all the track.
Everything, wealth, extreme poverty, sudden violence, or absolute peace, is positioned as the direct, unavoidable result of personal trajectory and thermodynamic karma.
So what does this all mean when we synthesize all these examples?
It's a lot to take in.
It is. He is using one single overarching umbrella of thermodynamic karma to explain literally every phenomenon in existence.
Every single one.
He's applying the exact same physics equation to the rise and fall of ancient empires, global terrorism, a viral outbreak, and like a random stomachache on a Tuesday.
It scales perfectly in his view.
It's an absolutely unified theory of total accountability. It leaves zero room for the concept of a victim.
Which brings us to the ultimate question of application.
How do we actually use this?
Right. If you buy into this premise, if you accept that the universe is a tightly wound, perfectly balanced machine where your current life is just an unchangeable track laid down by your past actions, how are you actually supposed to live your day-to-day life?
Yeah. Does he offer a practical guide for existing in this machine?
He does. He distills his advice for living a wise life into one profound, albeit pretty challenging sentence.
Okay, let's hear it.
He advises, take things as they are, associate with others by following predestined relations, act in accordance with your nature, and take advantage of opportunities as they arise.
Man, take things as they are. That is a spectacularly heavy lift when you are going through a crisis or facing genuine injustice.
It's asking a lot.
It really is. But stepping back and bringing it all back to you, the listener, the true value of exploring a deep dive like this isn't about whether you adopt this worldview wholesale.
You don't have to agree with it.
Exactly. You might think treating human morality as a thermodynamics equation is brilliant, or you might think it is completely absurd and minimizing of real suffering.
Both are valid reactions.
But either way, it offers a truly fascinating lens through which to interrogate the world.
It shakes up your perspective.
It challenges you to look at life not as a series of chaotic random accidents, but as a meticulously balanced equation where you, the deepest, oldest version of you, are the ultimate architect of the room you are standing in.
This raises an important question, though, about the psychological impact of internalizing this kind of absolute accountability.
Exactly. I want to leave you with a final thought to chew on today, something that builds on this intersection of physics and destiny we've been unpacking.
Let's hear it.
If your current life really is just playing out the rigid, unchangeable tracks laid down by your past self,
Yeah.
wait, let me rephrase that. If your current life really is just playing out those rigid tracks, and your current actions, the intense struggles you're dealing with today, are only laying tracks for a future version of you that you won't even consciously remember being,
Right.
does that absolute, inescapable cosmic accountability make you feel trapped in a cage of your own making?
A lot of people would feel that way.
Or, strangely, does the realization that the track is already laid actually free you to just let go, relax, and finally experience the ride?